Hello and welcome. If you are lucky enough to receive this video to critique, and you have just been included in the very exclusive club of people that get to partake in the development of Law and Order. In this video, I will reintroduce Law and Order as an application, discuss the user investigation, discuss the prototype that was developed as a result of that user investigation, and then the feedback and observations that have been made based on the prototype that was produced. Just to recap, Law and Order is an application that helps turn your yard from hoarder to order, with a focus on complex DIY works that can be completed in your very own backyard. The application will include a comprehensive outdoor stair designer and garden edging and mapping. The application has recently undergone vigorous user investigation. The user investigation's focus was to decide what features should be included in the application. It would determine this by investigating the demographics, average land, and questioning the potential users of their largest issues when completing DIY tasks. It would do this through surveys advertised on social media. The first part of the survey focused on the demographic of potential users. The survey revealed that majority of potential users were in the younger age bracket and either first home owners or long-term home owners. This showed that it should be focused on the homeowners rather than in a professional scenario. The second part of the survey was to analyze the land sizes and style. There was no conclusive evidence on an average land size for potential users. However, it was found that most users either had a split level or some sort of slope on their land. There were no cases of very sloped land. This shows that a stair calculator is an important feature in the application. When asked about their ability to complete DIY projects, potential users scored themselves 5.3 out of 10 on average. They also scored their last project that they tried to complete a 5.4 out of 10. This shows that most users would have a basic understanding of how to perform DIY tasks, but may require some help. The last piece of evidence collected from the survey was regarding the difficulties in completing a task. When questioned about their greatest difficulty when completing tasks, the majority of potential users stated that it was the ability to design complex ideas. This shows that the app should have a focus on design rather than creating shopping lists or timeframes. To summarize the user investigations, it was found that most users were in the younger age brackets and either first home owners or long-term home owners. There was very little potential users that came from a professional landscaping point of view. Most users had land with some sort of slope on it and could perform DIY tasks with help on the greater difficulty tasks. The biggest difficulty was found in designing complex ideas such as stairs and gardens. This means that the app should resemble a design helper. It should be aided by blueprints and pictures to help the non-professionals with designing elements. Here is a summary of the investigation and observations from feedback videos. With the user investigation complete, a prototype needed to be designed that could cater for what the potential user would need. This was the first user interface created. It is the landing page for the Law and Order's web application. This page had 4 major uses. It allows users to sign up so that they can save projects. It provides information on the functions of the application. And most of all, it provides a link to both the stair calculator and the garden and edges function. The second user interface created was the stair calculator page. This page allows users to input 2 dimensions of their hill, and the computer will determine the third dimension. For example, a user might be able to measure the height of their hill and the hypotenuse of their hill by lying a tape measure across it, and then by entering this, the computer will be able to determine the length of the hill. It will then output a diagram of the hill so that the user can understand what their hill looks like. The next function allows the user to select the size of their stair that they desire. It then outputs a diagram that shows the hill with stairs placed on it and a blueprint of the stairs and how to construct them. Here is a potential output for what a stair calculator could look like. It shows the hill with a 90-degree angle at the base. The hill would need to be able to adjust to the user's input. The stairs would need to be able to adapt with the user's input as well, creating equal stairs along the hill. The other output of this section is a shopping list that will take into account the materials that are needed to build the stairs to put on the hill. It will then output this in a shopping list with a cost amount. The next page is quite similar to the stair calculating page. It allows the users to input the dimensions of their yard they wish to convert into a garden. It then asks the user to select a shape and size in which they wish to have a mulched garden. It then produces a map of that garden with a shopping list and cost and leaves the rest as usable lawn. An example can be seen on the next slide. Here is an example of a potential output of the map garden function. Feedback and observations were then taken in from a select group. This included video feedback from previous stages of the project. Some of the limiting factors from this feedback were COVID-19 isolation protocols. A member of the household contracted COVID-19, limiting the amount of people that could test the user interface. Feedback showed that the blueprints from the stairs and gardens were incredibly helpful. The most prominent piece of feedback from the group was that it could be better served as a more mobile-friendly application, with a more simplistic design so that it can be used on the work site and while in store. Based on this feedback, the ability for the app to produce blueprints to accompany the plan was the most vital part of the code. It was important for the user to be able to put in varying measurements and have varying outputs. The blueprints need to be clear and have a strong algorithm that works to produce the plan accurately. Thanks for taking part in this group, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I have broken the feedback for this video into 2 sections to help me process information better. The first part is the user feedback. Some questions that I'd like answers to is, as a user, could you see yourself using an application like this? And how detailed instructions would you need on measurements of hypotenuse of a hill? The second part is feedback from a design professional. How do I keep my design simplistic but ensure that it is a highly learnable app? For instance, how people don't get confused while using it. Some suggestions have been made that my app should also include details for building retaining walls. Will this take my app too far? For example, will I need to look further into council building regulations? And will this leave my app at a liability if a retaining wall goes wrong? I'd love to hear your information. Please post it on my video, and thanks very much for listening.